Hey guys, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. It is I, your friend, your favorite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg, and today we have some very interesting Star Wars updates. There have been some pretty strange developments overnight, and I'm here to break them down. So we're going to be talking about the future of Star Wars content, but also changes at Lucasfilm. It seems that the rumors of Kathleen Kennedy's departure being imminent might be true. This sort of went under the radar, but Lucasfilm has officially confirmed a few changes. On the official YouTube channel, they just posted a video titled "Welcome to Lucasfilm." And you'll notice, out of all of the employees they interviewed, Kathleen Kennedy is absent. There is only one frame of her in the entire thing. And the person who closes the video out, the Welcome to Lucasfilm 2026 video, is Dave Filoni. He's the person they chose to be the spokesperson. This is very significant, and to me, this reads as big changes to come. Rumors have been saying Kathy's goodbye interview is gonna come any day now, and I think this video is the prelude to it. In the past, typically Kathy's been central to these kinds of videos, but for the 2026 Welcome to Lucasfilm promo, she wasn't even interviewed for it. It's Dave Filoni with the final message, so look out for big updates in the coming days or weeks. I think this is big. Now hold your horses, we're not quite done with big Lucasfilm changes, because today we just had some breaking news. Lucasfilm is pivoting away from the sequel trilogy, specifically where it concerns Galaxy's Edge. I mean, how many times have Star Wars fans said, you've got a literal Star Wars land, and you're wasting it by just focusing on a narrow period between episodes 8 and 9? What about the prequel trilogy? What about the original trilogy? Well, today, they've just announced big changes. In a shift from its original ambitions, Galaxy's Edge is turning back the clock. It will no longer be set primarily in the sequel trilogy, which means it's goodbye for Rey and Kylo Ren, and hello to classic Star Wars characters. And the ones they've announced coming to Black Spire Outpost are Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Leia, and Han Solo. The changes for now are specific to Disneyland, and John Williams' Star Wars theme will also be broadcast across Galaxy's Edge. So, like I said, these are all just symptoms of big changes to come, and to be honest guys, I'm pretty optimistic. The last time I spoke about the Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy situation, a lot of people cautioned there wouldn't be any substantial changes. The basic overall structure of the studio and the way things have worked is going to pretty much stay the same. The truth of the matter is though, it's a big question mark. We don't know for certain what a Filoni Lucasfilm is going to look like. And since, a pretty insightful opinion piece has dropped from Teases, someone who was very controversial during the run of The Acolyte for some of his opinions, and I wanted to react to this in real time with you guys, before we move on to some other updates. The question he gets to is Filoni potentially running all of Star Wars good or bad news for the franchise? He won't be alone, there is a co-president in Lin-Win Brennan, but the initial report from Puck News did say, for all intents and purposes, on the creative front, Dave Filoni is the man at the wheel. He's the one driving Star Wars in its new direction. But what is that Star Wars going to look like? Well, the article says it depends on who you ask. It feels like most would approve of this decision, with the man responsible for some of the best Star Wars storylines we've seen, especially in his peak Clone Wars days. But others think he's too involved in making his own stuff into key parts of new era Star Wars, as we see in Ahsoka, a show that was received somewhat tepidly. And then they say, the current state of Star Wars is so scattered, it's hard to even know what would happen under Filoni. Ahsoka is the only Disney Plus show confirmed to even be coming back, with everything else either cancelled, finished, or one-off. The big return to Star Wars movies is a spin-off of a TV show. After that, there are more potentially interesting projects, like Ryan Gosling's Starfighter, and the James Mangold-directed Dawn of the Jedi, which still exists at this point, with a graveyard of other cancelled Star Wars films behind it. And finally, Teases says his main concern is Dave Filoni not taking risk, being too Clone Wars and Rebel-centric, making those characters like Ahsoka and Hera the main focus of Star Wars going forward. He says, Star Wars desperately needs to escape the Skywalkers, either going forwards or going backwards. And this, I do agree with. But let's go back to what he said about a Filoni-led Lucasfilm. If this really is happening, and personally I do give it credibility, with hindsight, I think there were some signs at D23 and Star Wars Celebration in Japan, where Filoni subtly spoke about where Lucasfilm is headed, and the big tip-off for me was twofold: the Lucasfilm Animation 20th Anniversary panel, and the interview Dave gave with Screen Rant, where it sounds like most TV shows going forward are no longer going to be live action. The Maul series is the beginning of a wider initiative to tell stories that fill in the gaps, purely in the animation medium. And that's Filoni's strong point. I've said this before, but I think we're going to start seeing Clone Wars style animation for different points of the timeline, maybe a sequel animated show, and definitely New Republic projects. There's always been dissent against Dave Filoni, but it really started ramping up in Ahsoka, his live action attempt. So I think the focus for the Disney Plus stuff for the streaming service is going to be animation. And with the Screen Rant interview, now that Ahsoka Season 2 is wrapped and in post, I think Dave is very much looking forward to his movie. And based on the reception and box office success or failure of that, they're going to reassess, because that could lead to other spin-offs. And while I love the Clone Wars, while I love the Rebels characters, I'd like to think there is a wider plan, a wider map, and I hope he puts the right creatives in the right positions. I hope we get some more Tony Gilroys. And also, my friends, Lucasfilm.com updated their upcoming projects page. There is no Ahsoka Season 2, but like I said, they have confirmed it is coming later this year on Disney UK. But they're just showcasing the upcoming 2 projects, which are Maul Shadow Lord, which they seem to imply is going to be first. No surprises there if that's true, but we do actually need Lucasfilm to promote it. And arguably the biggest Star Wars product of the year because it's a movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu. And on that front, we do have a couple of new updates. It appears as though toy shops in Brazil have already started to prepare for the merch drop. And in one promotional poster, we can see the stormtroopers that are going to feature in the movie. You have a basic stormtrooper, the snow trooper, the AT-AT pilot, a shore trooper, and the one on the far left has got a lot of fans stumped, but it's just a snow trooper without the external veil. In other Mandoverse updates, my friends, we have a very exciting tidbit from Rosario Dawson for Ahsoka Season 2. In an interview at GalaxyCon Columbus, she reveals in the second season she tried to lean into the performance of Ashley Eckstein's Ahsoka, and she rewatched the Clone Wars and Rebels as homework. She reveals that she was trying to do that to some extent in her performance in Mando Season 2, but now, as the character's evolving more, now that she's kind of gone back to the role of a Jedi, she wants to do that even more so. And Rosario goes on to say this: one of the performance things I played with a little more in the second season is that Ahsoka has gotten a little lighter, because Ashley is a Disney princess, so it was nice to think about her tenor and her energy and her calm in the moments where she kind of loses it. There was one scene that we did on the second season and Dave came up to me and said, "I feel like I was watching the animation." And from these comments, my friends, I think we can infer some really intense lightsaber action, but she keeps her cool. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts on all of today's news in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. May the Force be with you, always.